Today is 2/6. Connected to my foundation. Connected to my traumas. Connected to my choices. 6, standardly people say it's the number for foundations. It's the number, and some people's numerology, they're trying to say 6 is perfection. You might want to rethink that. They'll say 6 is the foundations. In my own personal number, it stands for the perspective of yourself within the field of probabilities and possibilities. And basically for me, the field of possibilities and probabilities stands for infinity. If you're finding yourself trapped in everything that's possible and everything that's probable, think about it. If I'm caught in anything's possible and anything's probable, there is no guarantee. There's choice. There's just uncertainty. Henceforth, infinity. No matter what I invest in, it's a possibility and a probability that I might find myself. The whole thing is, you're investing in finding yourself by connecting to something else that doesn't guarantee that that's where you're going to be found. So 2/6. And I already did my week of ahead for 2/3 to 2/9, so I've already spoke on this. But what this reading is about empathy, because today really does touch on empathy. I'm connected to my traumas. And again, to go back to what I was saying about my version of 6, where you're caught up in the infinite field of potentials, probabilities and possibilities, that's a trauma. Trauma for me is a marker for experience. It doesn't have to be good or bad. In either case, it's a trauma. Something that is too good to you, traumatic. Something that is so bad for you, traumatic. Trauma nonetheless. So trauma is just a marker for experience. So today, in a sense of empathy shows where I'm connected to the energy that has been moved and the path that is going to show me the result. So I want to do an empathic Celtic cross variation. But first, we need to define empathy. And as I said, empathy for me, EMPATHY, energy, EM, motion, energy being moved, path, the direction of your choices. The energy being moved into a path, and it's going to show me why. It's going to show me me. It's going to show you you. Energy being moved in a path to show you you. So we'll ask for a clear-cut definition on perspective of what empathy actually is based off of what I'm telling you my version is. Let's see if the cards back it up or deny. So what is empathy? Timelessly pulled apart. Look at it. You're pulled apart. This is the angel oak. This is the queen of earth in my cards. For years, you've seen me go to this tree. Probably need to go. I'll probably go tomorrow. When I do the videos or when I talk about the tree, I show where that tree is so large and magnificent and branched out in so many different directions, but it's branched out so much, it went down into the earth and came back up out of the earth. Some trunks on the branches are so wide that they have to have poles to help support them. Think about that in the sense of yourself. You get tied into so much stuff that you now need help going through it. We can call that your spiritual support system. We can call that your ancestors. We can call that your deity sets. We can call that your angels, your guides, your demons, your whatever. You have put yourself through so much. You've timelessly pulled yourself apart that you now need help with things pulling you together. The thought now has all the potential, because think about it in the sense where I said empathy is you making an infinite choice to split yourself. Whatever you split yourself into now has more of your energy than you. Because remember, empathy is I'm trying to figure out who I am by connecting to something else that is going to give me an answer. So if you don't know who you are, but you're giving your time into discovery, potentially what you're giving yourself into already has enough awareness of what the answer is. 3 + 1, 4. You're establishing balance with your choice to go into separation because you expect the choice of separation to show you balance. Again, lower end analogy is you get in a relationship with somebody and you tell them, don't play with me. If you ain't ready for me, don't come for me, because I can't let my heart get hurt no more. And now you think like, okay, so I already got an upper hand because they already got damages and insecurities and shit. And they just looking for these signs to make sure that they safe. I'll do everything to keep them safe until safety no longer is my issue. And that's how a lot of y'all relationships are. You're only as safe as the next decision that you don't know about. Instead of, okay, if I'm in a situation and somebody does something that's unsafe for me, I now need to make sure I'm no longer unsafe for myself. Ta-da! No over energetic investment into the trauma of the choices. It is the over investment. I can't even use the word over. It is the proper investment into myself to understand that if I give my time to something and it ends up pulling me apart, guess what? It's my responsibility to hold myself together. So this is where you hear me, and I've been saying this probably since 2018, is my version of empathy in this current realm. I call it sympathetic distraction. Why? Because it's trauma nurturing. It's trauma nurturing. It's safety bonding. People are empathic, connected to shit that really ain't got nothing to do with them, or bothered by shit that does have something to do with them, because they don't have enough to do with themselves. The age-old analogy I've always used, Friday night Walmart. You go to Walmart Friday night in the hood, that shit's nasty energy. Because you got ghetto motherfuckers in there, and you got bigoted motherfuckers in there, and you got the people who work there who ain't happy working there. It's just a shit ton of nasty-ass energy. So you go in Walmart, and all of a sudden your head hurting, your heart hurting, because it just, it feel off in here. The difference is you can feel that it's off in there and it not bother and make you become off in here. That's where the sympathetic distraction comes in. I haven't done anything to fix my own tendencies to harbor these type of energies within myself. So when I come into contact with these energies externally, they affect me and infect me where I'm already sick internally. A lot of y'all won't get with that because it's really you. You ain't empathic out here. The shit that's going on right now, it's not touching your empathy. It's touching your sympathetic distraction cord, or where you know this shit and you either not wanted to do anything about it, or you've been rendered incapable of doing anything about it, and you just learn to deal with it. But now it is of such a nature to where you just can't deal with it. You understand it? Safe mode. I see it and I know what's going on, but it ain't affecting me yet. So I'm just going to let it keep getting bigger and bigger. And now it's so big that you can't get out of the sickness. That's not empathy. That's sympathetic distraction. You saw the shit coming, but you didn't do anything to change it. You saw the shit coming, but you didn't do anything to change it. So empathy in the sense of energy is the shit that's pulling you apart. Why? Because empathy, think about it, what I said, the whole reasoning process was, I'm going to let my energy get moved into a path that is going to show me me. Sometimes you let your energy get moved into a path to show you that you should have never moved at all. You understand that? This is from a parent's perspective. You got this piece of candy, and it's a super hot candy. And you got the little child who's like, oh, mommy, daddy, I want the piece of candy. Baby, that candy is hot. That shit gonna burn your mouth. I can handle it. And you're like, no, you don't need that. I want the candy. Then you're going to let them practice moving their energy where you already know that they shouldn't, so that they learn to sit their little punk ass down and be still. Still a variation of empathy. You let them get the experience that they knew that they should not have, but they couldn't sit still and they wanted it, so you allowed it. Your energy, when you don't own it, when you give your energy into the potentiality of choices, possibilities, and probabilities, the intelligent format of energy says, I'll allow it. Come on and go down this path until you realize you shouldn't have never went. Too many places to go with that. Think about a lot of conspiracy theorists go down rabbit holes that's only designed to get you to shit on yourself. But you're so used to shitting on yourself that the shit that you find in a rabbit hole is complementary to the shit that you already shitting on yourself with, so you continue on your journey. You have sympathetically distracted yourself by giving your energy into something that will only help further pull you apart. Why? Because at that point, holding yourself together is no longer part of the equation. It's getting to the end of the rabbit hole so that you can see what's really there. That's a pipe dream. So empathy, timelessly pulling yourself apart. Queen of earth, queen is influence. Earth, the realm of earth, is traditions and belief. It's the grounding realm. It's the materialization. Whatever influences what I believe, whatever influences my levels of traditions, whatever influences how I hold myself together, will be the biggest influence on how I pull myself apart. Empathy is trust in that aspect. If you trust something else to guide you more than you are taking guidance from yourself, shit show. So moving on to the empathic cross. We'll do the significator. Already, empathy is the significator. You are timelessly pulling yourself apart while still being at the center, trying to hold yourself together. In the sense of this being that angel oak, and look it up, the angel oak, South Carolina. Big ass tree, beautiful trunk, large ass branches, but still need support. So really, you're the source of the infection because you're watching everything else grow from you as you need help to maintain growth for yourself. So this is a cancer function. So empathy can become a cancer function. So what is the significator for this reading in the sense of the empathic cross? Currently, we are caught in the field of empathy. And I told you last year, 2026 is the year of empathy. It's the year of spiritual addictions. It's the year where your empathy shows you apathy and pathos, wholeness. So, and all three of them really are not necessary. Awareness cancels all this shit. Just up front. Awareness cancels your need to get connected to anything, especially when you don't have certainty of whether it's going to disconnect you. That becomes choice. So the significator, I'm already going to tell you, is choice. Empathy is a choice. It's a choice. This is the sun card. Giving your power can also give you death. Giving life to something, this is the sun gives life, also could be the signification of causing death. Think about the analogy I said about getting into a relationship with something that you don't know where it's going to go. You potentially killed yourself. You gave your energy into something that you didn't have all the answers to, but your desire to create allowed you to create, and now you created something that destroyed you. So in essence, you destroyed yourself. You took a chance. So choice. Another way I read my numbers, you see 19. In my number system, that is when I deal with the sun card, where I keep telling you the sun gives life. Motion in this realm is life and death. When you start dealing with motion, cycles 1 through 9. In my number system, 0 is source. If you want to go to the tarot, 0 is the fool. The fool has the initial choice. Why? Because the 0 had all the power. It was only until it chose to become 1, potential, 2, connected, 3, thought, 4, creation, 5, being moved, 6, making choices, 7, trying to discover itself, 8, struggling with what it's found out, 9, trying to find its vibration. Cycles 1 through 9. You saw that last word? 0 had everything. 1 through 9 made you become all things. Please learn the difference. The difference between everything and all things. Hey man, where's your money at? I got my money into everything. What do you mean everything? Right here. I got my money right here in everything. Hey man, where's your money at? In all things. So now I'm in stocks. Now I'm in bonds. Now I'm in this, that, and the other. And so when one of them fall apart, I fall apart too. Did you get the difference? Everything, I got it. All things, it got me. So the significance for this reading is what you keep giving your power to might be what's killing you. Holy shit, let's just be realistic. Look at the shit that everybody posts about and talk about all day. The government doing this, the government doing that, the politicians doing that. I'm sorry, I'll be 55 in a few weeks. I remember growing up in the late 70s and 80s, and it was already a known thing about the Hollywood casting couches and shit, to where in order for you to become a star, you had to give up some ass, man or woman. We knew about this shit as kids. We knew about this shit as kids, that some people could not get ahead unless they did some dastardly shit for some sick motherfuckers who were already in power. Them sick motherfuckers start translating more and more into everybody else who had the power, and then everybody else who thought They were given the power, found out they didn't have any. It became more and more blatantly clear that the government was sold out. Hollywood was already corrupt. Your local government was corrupt. All forms of government corrupt. Most of your businesses were corrupt. We already knew this shit. So that's why I keep sitting here and saying, you motherfuckers keep pipe dreaming yourself, telling yourself that a set of files is going to be what changes the show. You already knew this. We already knew this. My whole life, we already knew this. Did anybody do anything about it? No. Why? Because they were comfortable with it. It helped keep them empathically safe. You'll connect to that sick motherfucker. Think about that show Dexter. That motherfuckers knew what Dexter was doing. It was just safe to keep Dexter on your team because if you needed to get some shit done, Dexter would do it. We've kept and watched this sick system because for some people, the sickness is what kept them safe. Oh, well, they're only targeting minorities and they're only targeting women. They're only targeting this, that, and the other. They're not fucking with me, Bob. So, hey, just don't let your kids stay over there. So you're part of the sickness too. You have empathically connected to the sickness, but you have not addressed the sickness within you. So how can you expect to fix the infection by only getting rid of the sickness you see in others, but you haven't done anything to get rid of the sickness in yourself? So that's why I keep saying, miss me with this Epstein style. We need to burn down Hollywood. We need to burn down the White House. It ain't going to change shit. This is, to get allegorical with it, this is when, what's that motherfucker, Moses went up the mountain. Him and Aaron went up. Or when he went up by himself and he got the commandments and he came down and the people didn't know what to do. So they made Aaron fashion a golden calf because they didn't know how to lead themselves. So they went and created another deity to sell their energy into. You motherfuckers will get rid of one God and replace it with another one. Why? Because you don't want to be the ruler for yourself. Because holy shit, then you'll have to fix you. You are empathically connected to having somebody to blame because taking accountability and responsibility is a no-no in this realm. And that shows on all levels. That shows, being honest, speaking from the metaphysical, that shows in the human, that shows in the afterlife realm, dealing with ancestrals and spirits, dealing into other dimensional realms such as deities and ethereals and angelicals and daemons. Nobody takes full accountability. Why? Because the biggest imprint, the biggest empathic imprint in the thought of separation is don't hold yourself together. You understand that? The minute the thought decides to hold itself together, it has to take accountability for fixing itself. But the minute that the thought can keep tying its energy into something else that has been pulled apart, it can hold itself together by staying pulled apart. Empathy, my energy being moved into a path to show me, but which me? So before we go into the reading, which me? Save me with the sickness of separation? Holy shit, fill my mind with a bunch of mess. My number system, 34 is God. 3 is the thoughts, 4 is creation. The thoughts that form creation, 3 plus 4, become 7. Become you. 7 is self-awareness. 3, 4, the queen of air, whichever is filling your mind. Remember, I already told you, thought said, I can't have these deities working on wholeness. I can't have these humans working on wholeness. I can't have these angels working on wholeness. Your spirit teams that don't want wholeness won't teach you wholeness either. The thought is already running the show. The thought says, I'll keep you playing a game of pulling yourself apart because you'll lie to yourself about that's how you hold yourself together. I'll fill your mind with a bunch of mess and you'll think it's you. So that's you only sponsoring separation. Your mind's filled with a bunch of mess. Holy shit, what do we call that? Programmed. What happens if you realize you have a firewall experience where, holy shit, I am my own sickness. Let me start checking me more than I'm trying to check everybody else. So here's that version of you in the sense of empathy is, holy shit, I need to check me before I move into anything else. So we'll call this accountable you. Reality. The reality is there is only me and my choices. That is the reality. The illusion is you gave your energy to everything that you think is going to show you you. This is La Luna, the moon. Notice it's in reverse. 1 through 8. The potential was all in the struggle. 1 plus 8, 9. My highest vibration. What's my highest vibration? Staying real with myself. Don't give my energy into anything that is going to show me a different version of me that I now do not have awareness of, and I got to go to somebody else to get a definition. Now you out here taking shaman courses. Now you out here doing deep meditations with Archangel Raziel. Now you out here singing Om Cream Shreem Kalake Namaha. You out here trying to find definition in the other aspects of separation, because these other aspects of separation is what's going to show you you when they are you in separation. Oops. That is no disrespect to any format of energy, because again, as a practitioner in this illusion of separation, I've worked with many. I've worked with many of the aspects of ourself in separation, because they don't understand separation either. They only operate from the primary function of their level of thought form. And if their thought form is I'm higher than you, then there is no concern for your lower awareness, because their higher awareness is fed by your lower awareness, the worship system. The more energy you dump into higher concepts, the less you have for yourself, the more they have of themselves, nothing else needed. If you are a king or queen and you have all of the riches, you really don't want for more. Until the sickness within yourself says, I need more, but instead of reaching higher, you normally reach lower to make sure nobody else gets to your level. That is what you're seeing. These rich motherfuckers, think about it. 10 years ago, somebody having 400 trillion or $400 billion would have been, fuck this. We're not doing that. Now you got a list of motherfuckers. Well, so-and-so is worth 4 trillion. Wait a minute. You mean he could take 200 million and fix all the world's problems? Shh. You're thinking too hard. You're thinking too hard. You're thinking in the terms of fixing shit instead of fixating on who has everything. You don't understand reality, but holy shit, like I keep trying to tell y'all, we're in an illusion. What you accept becomes real. So many of y'all think that this is reality because you accept the conditions of the sickness, that is your empathy. You're only empathically connected to the sickness, and you expect to find healing. So now, finally, the significant portion of it is you out here sponsoring death by filling your mind with a false reality because you ain't ready to be real for yourself. What is happening with the world? Empathic explosion. My perspective, it is you can only lie to yourself about not lying to yourself for so long. Unfortunately, the results of where you lie to yourself do have acceptable real-time consequences to everybody else who was affected by those lies. And you can't just wipe them away. So what's happening with the world? Everything that we sat and watched, everything that motherfuckers like me told y'all about since last decade, but because it didn't fit what you want to hear, you chose not to hear it nor see it, and now you can't escape it. And that's not saying that I had all the answers, but people been telling us about this shit for centuries. At some point, the human greed is going to cause such a level of sickness to where it will potentially destroy itself. And at that point, the people who have been made the sickest will go to those who made them sick for the healing. Look what we do. At such a point, empathy will become such a level of apathy that people will be apathetic to those in need because their needs were always met. But the day that their needs are no longer met, they're going to want everybody else who never had their needs met to join them to stop, who never helped them meet their needs. You get it? The same people who have benefited from what's going on in this world are no longer benefiting from what's going on in this world. So now they're endangered. We could do the easy, what helps people. And again, it's sad that you have to do this. And again, if you're new to me, you already should know racism ain't a part of the equation, but racism is a part of this planet's reality. So we can easily look back at Nazi Germany and how they came into power and how they picked things apart without realizing that, holy shit, this is something that's been done since the beginning of time. One set of people did not appreciate another set of people, so they persecuted another set of people. And then next thing you know, there was subjugation. But we've become so apathetic to struggle of all that we only fixate on the struggle of the few. So, and we've said this for a long time, when in my community, come on now, we said it ain't gonna be until they start killing pets and animals out this motherfucker, that things will make a difference. And then, holy shit, they start killing animals. Didn't make a difference. So then we start saying, well, holy shit, when they start killing white people in the streets, then the motherfuckers do something. Now they start killing white people in the street. Now they want to do something, but ain't nothing being done. Then we start saying, holy shit, if they find out what's really going on in Hollywood and in fucking DC, all the shit we already know about, but when they have to admit it, then the people going to rise up and then shit will change. Now they out here throwing shit in your face and mocking you. And ain't nothing changed. Why? Empathy. You got too comfortable. Same thing again, like we used to say back in, like, say, 2014, when they start getting good at showing death on IG and Facebook. You can watch motherfuckers get killed in real time. And there was no more blocking it out because they wanted you to become desensitized to their new format of reality. Have you so apathetic to the struggle of your own people? And I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about people who are in the same boat as you, the underclass. They have you so apathetic to what we're going through that you don't pay attention to what they put you through. This is no different than going to the restaurant and feeling bad for not being able to tip your waiter or your cook when you could afford the fucking meal in the first place. Well, if you can't afford to eat, you shouldn't go out. Hey man, I got 5 kids. I got to feed them. Sometimes it's cheaper to go out to eat than it is to buy fucking groceries. And I'm sorry that I can't give you that 20% that you think you deserve just because the motherfucker who owns the restaurant ain't paying you what you're worth. But you mad at me for not being paid what you're worth because I can't afford to pay you what I don't have. Now we're at each other's throats, and these motherfuckers are still out here garnering $400 million profit a quarter. A quarter. They out here taking in all this money because they're making sure that we stay at each other's throats, that we can't get shit together. They're out here keeping all these laws and regulations in place because they still using that basic trick of white versus black. And we're so embattled in our energy that we can't see past it. So at some point, do you still stay at each other's throat, or do you get rid of the motherfucker like we used to do in my day back in the 70s and 80s? Baddest man hit my hand, now hit that man. Do we still keep hitting each other, or do we get rid of them? But that scares too many of you. Again, that's why I say from my military standpoint, never be a revolution. You got too many motherfuckers filled with fear, and you got too many motherfuckers who have already benefited from the way things are that they just want to get back to that. You don't want change. You just want your levels of empathy to be restored. You are already energetically moved into a path to show you the safest you, and that's the problem. Safe you has already been filled with a bunch of dangers. Real you ain't even been met. You haven't met real you yet because we haven't been given a place to sit still and just see shit for what it is. We only respond to what they keep showing us. And the world would be a better place for you and me if we just get rid of everybody else who won't do what they're supposed to do. And in that saying right there, empathy already wins. Because for me to say, if they would just do what they're supposed to do, your version of what they're supposed to do versus my version of what they're supposed to do is already on 2 different pages. Some people have an innate fear of equality. And again, this ain't got nothing to do with the meat suit. Some people have an innate fear of everybody being on the same playing field because they've been taught. They've been taught to only stay in the condition of superiority when they was not superior altogether. Again, if you teach somebody long enough that they're better than somebody else, they'll never want to leave that position, even if it was never true. At the root of everything is always a fear. Fear is what runs empathy. Your energy moves into a path based off of a fear. That fear is I've already been programmed to either not see myself as enough or to see something else as too much in the way of danger. So the empathic cross, what's the situation? What did I just say? Fear. Two, connection. You're too connected to the fear, and now you out here swimming with the sharks. Why? Because you become Yemaya. Yemaya is known as the mother of fishes, the mother of many. If your thought is based in fear, and now the only thing you respond to is fear, guess what the rest of your thoughts are going to keep producing? Fear. If you, let's play the Neo game in Matrix, they were strapped to the chair and they got all these wires coming out of them, which mean they're never moving, but their energy is being used to create the program, the Matrix itself. If your mind is filled with fear and there's, holy shit, cords coming out of you, every cord coming out of you contains fear. So now you become Yemaya, the waters. All you're going to do is keep creating more fear. Parasitic existence. The primary function for the parasite is to secure itself by keeping you sick. I use an example, and I even posted about it. There's a rat. This is a specific virus or parasite that gets into the mind of the rat and takes away its fear. It makes the rat go fight a cat. The cat kills the rat and eats the rat. Now the virus is in the cat. The cat poops out the virus. Another rat eats the virus, and the cycle continues. What is the only thing that's going to survive that whole cycle? The fucking parasite. What is surviving mentally in us? The parasite. It teaches us to keep moving and creating new experiences, energy being moved down a path, and I'll show you when you get there. That's a pipe dream. Give me $500 today, and I'll give you some money back tomorrow. Think about what I just said. You didn't have all the information. You didn't have enough information to make a wise investment. Give me $500 today, and I'll give you some money back tomorrow. A, you don't know what kind of money I'm giving you back tomorrow. You don't know how much money I'm giving you back tomorrow. You don't know whether I got you now hooked in some fucking cartel bullshit. You don't have enough information to make a decision. You just have a want and a need. And your fear that you already don't have enough will make you connect to the potentialities of what can give you more. And again, as I said, if you already been programmed to see yourself as either not enough or more than anything else, you'll fight to get out of or stay in those conditions. Hey, I got more than you, guy. I can't watch you come up. Get rid of DEI. Throw the books out. Hey, man, I don't have enough. I'm going to do anything I can to get up there. Kill your own kind. Perfect programming. You've been energetically charged to parasitically perform within yourself, but this ain't you. So the whole problem is you just keep producing the fear plant. What's crossing the situation? I just said it. This ain't you. The problem is you're only responding to the traumatic impulses of what's telling you to move. What's this reading about? Empathy. My energy is being moved. Who's telling your energy to be moved? Your fear. What's telling your fear? It's a thought. What's telling your fear? What's telling you what fear is? God diggity damn. Your connection to the fear is the problem. You are the power plant. 2 minus 2, 0. 2, 2, 1. Potential. 2, 2, the master builder. 22. You're connected to the fear and you're only building the fear. You the rat. The virus is already inside of you. The virus is the strongest thought in your head. Epstein, 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 Trump, 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 murder, death, sex, kill, squirt, death, kill, squirt, death, kill, pussy, dick. Holy shit, all I can think about is this depravity. You don't have enough for your bills. I'm not being shown anything to promote stillness and wholeness. I'm only shown things to make me strive for those as an end game. Holy shit, you mean go through all this shit and then you'll get what you want at the end? Yeah, says the thought. You're saying, despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. Rage in my number system is 23. Only rage ain't anger. Rage is burning energy. When you go out and you start a fire and you start pouring lighter fluid on it, you get more energy. My rage, the more energy I give to this bullshit, the more empathically connected to it I am. Words or spells. So despite all my rage, I'm still a rat in the cage, because the more energy I give to this shit that is designed for me to pay attention to it, the less attention I pay to myself. The more attention I pay to myself and see this shit for what it is, the less energy I have for it. The more awareness I now have where people are predestined and pre-designed and predisposed to pull themselves apart. Why? Because they're too connected to that fear. What's the fear? Fix yourself. Look at what's going on with you and figure out why this shit means so much to you, and then you'll have a better answer. No, see, I can't do that. It's so much going on. Can you just let me think? You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let your life tell your tale. See, that's why I say that. Let your life tell your tale. All I can do is present a perspective based off of my awareness and my experience. You have to develop your own. But if you're already predisposed to follow your fears, and that's the only thing you want to connect to, empathy. Woo! I had to find that video. I have my own alphabet. F means force. You're forcing energy. E means existence. You're forcing the existence. A means awareness. I'm forcing the existence of what I'm aware of. R means reclamation. I'm forcing the existence of what I'm aware of just so I can get it back. Think about it. And I've said this for a while. People who cliff hang. That's not something to be proud of. That's a fear in reverse. You do it to make sure that you're not scared. People stick their hands in fire just to figure out the experience. It's a programming sickness when you have to do something just to make sure that you can do it. It's a programming sickness just to have to do something to see what the result is. That is uncertainty of self. So yes, fear. I will. False evidence appearing real. Think about it in terms of what you said. Evidence is already experience, already taking place. There's evidence. You mean something already take place? Yes. In my energetic alphabet, it's forcing something to become the awareness of what I need to take back. So fear in my alphabet predates experience. Because, hey, I'm afraid if I go out there and jump off my fence backwards and into my neighbor's yards with them big ass dogs that don't like me, I might get eaten. So that's an awareness of fear that I don't need to create. Fear in this realm is I'm going to go do it to see whether I was really scared or not. Baddest man hit my hand. So you mean you want me to do something just to prove that I could do it? Virus in the rat. Hey man, go fight that cat. I can't fight that cat. Fight the cat. When a parasite takes over the mind, you have no choice. Thoughts are parasites. Especially in a collective consciousness, if you're not aware of yourself as the thinker, you're subjected to the thoughts. That is the problem of the collective consciousness. That's why I keep trying to tell you, the collective consciousness is not designed to collect itself because it's collected itself in separation. It means I want to collect myself in my fashion. You want to collect yourself in your fashion, but that's already separation. What you want versus what I want are not the same thing. So to collect ourselves collectively already includes disconnect. So the whole problem was you're too connected to fear, and then that becomes your foundation. Remember at the beginning, I know I've been here a long time now, but I told you 6, your foundation is a trauma. It's your choice. The potentiality of possibilities and probabilities becomes the foundation. You mean if I do this, I can get that? Yeah. But what if I do this and do that? Hey, that's a possibility too. But what if I don't do that? No, see, you need to make a choice. See, that's what the thoughts will campaign. When you're telling yourself, hey, I ain't got to do none of that, your thoughts are going to say, shit, you better make a choice. Why? Because I need your energy. Says the thought. I need you to do something. The parasite says, I need you to do something so I can validate myself. The thought is a fear. The thought has the fear of not being used. You understand that? Come on, my cyclic thinkers. I can't make a decision. That's because all the thoughts are campaigning for your energy. Well, you know what? I took an ashwagandha gummy and that was the best night I ever had. Them thoughts didn't have nothing for me. Them thoughts are mad as fuck at you now. You know what? You found a way to quiet your mind. You mean I don't get that much energy. So now the thoughts are scared that you're about to be free, where they need you to be enslaved to the fear that they institute into you. So the foundation is keep giving the thoughts all your energy. In my deck, the way I do these, it's 2 decks put together. That's how I ended up with 2 2s. This is the closest thing to the third 2. This is the third 2. This is, you're only connected to what already got you fooled. What got you fooled? Your connection to your fear. So you mean you're scared of your connection to your fear because you fear the connection to fear. Judgment card. Everything's already been revealed. I was crying over those poor victims, but this empathy is now feeding the narrative of those powerful, evil, rich with my energy. It is. It's the awareness that none of this should be taking place, but because we've set the space for it to take place, you have to understand the parameters of what you get. I'm trying to be careful with my wording because I think a little different than most people, and I'm not trying to be funny and put myself apart. It's just I've been doing this awareness game for almost 10 years, so I think different. You have to understand something that a lot of us say. In false flags, real people get killed. Within false flags, you have people who become so empowered in the false flag event that they become better for the false flag event. That includes conspiracy theorists, that includes protesters, that includes activists, because you can't see past the narrative, that you get so wrapped up in the narrative that you now support the narrative by giving the narrative a position to make you a part of the narrative too. Please see through what I'm saying. So in the sense to where somebody gets so enraged and so angry at what's going on, and sometimes that rage is going back to what I said, is because now you're uncomfortable, but it's been going on for so long and you wasn't uncomfortable. So why are you so uncomfortable now? You're uncomfortable now because it's affecting you. So you fit the narrative. Hey, we've been doing this shit for decades. Yeah, but you weren't doing it in my community, or you weren't doing it to my people. So now that I'm doing it to your people, now you're enraged. So your empathy is already some bullshit. And now you're angry about what you now see as an injustice, when the injustice was already the just way. Was the only thing that they're just doing. So you have to understand, I see the shit. And I don't want people to ever think that I'm not affected by what's going on. I'm just not infected. I see the shit because I've been talking about it for decades. I've been telling you, this shit is going to happen. And again, it doesn't mean that I'm right. It's just that, Stevie Wonder saw this shit coming. And he did. And he even talked about it. So we see this shit coming. It's just until it affects you, you're not sick. Once it affects you, you got a choice of either healing yourself by understanding what shit really is, or becoming infected by getting too fucking sick and getting too close and getting too personal. Well, remember what I told you. The only thing the parasite wants is your energy. We are watching the parasitic function of power now trying to eat itself, and it needs a new power source. The powers that be have been using humanity for so long that humanity got used to being used. And now we have this new age generation that is not usable because they just don't care. And I'm sorry if you're not seeing that, but you have to understand that what do y'all call Gen Z or Gen Alpha, whatever the fuck they are, these new kids, their frontal lobe development does not allow for them to be empathically connected, especially like you fucking millennials. I'm sorry, I'm married to a millennial. You motherfuckers go in too deep. Sorry, wifey. Versus us Gen Z. We don't give a fuck about this shit. We ate dirt for dinner. Fuck you. You see that? The different levels of empathy. We were usable because we get through it. The boomers were usable because they just compliant. Pray, Lord Jesus, save us. Millennials are like, why isn't somebody doing something different? You see all that level of energy? Gen Z is like, cap, bro. Cap. 6'7". That's a different level of usability. They don't have enough cognition issues to become usable because they're response driven. They're response driven. Your Gen Z is either going to fuck it or say fuck it. So when they push on Gen Z, it's just like that shit. Oh, I'm so proud of them babies. And it shouldn't have to get that way. You saw that motherfucking MAGA guy who tried to fight that girl, and Gen Z whooped his ass. The millennials have been like, oh my God, record, get a video. Gen Z would be like, man, it's fucked up. You ain't got to do this. The boomer would have been like, Gen Z don't care. If you don't care and the parasite's already in you, the parasite can't feed. So what do? They pull on everybody else's energy because we can't use who's already unusable because we've destroyed so much that holy shit, this latest crop doesn't have the potential that we need. So send in the clowns. Do some bullshit to make everybody else get sick because they don't already know that they already sick. I hope that made sense to you. So the whole thing is keeping you in states of empathy by keeping your energy usable. And unfortunately, keeping your energy usable ain't got shit to do with you. All this shit ain't got shit to do with you. It has everything to do with you allow it. And that's disrespectful. As a sacred clown, I get it. And I've said this for years. As a sacred clown, another form of a sacred clown is a jester. Another form of a sacred clown as a jester is a vizier. For years, I've said the clown is the only one that can make jokes about the king and queen and still live. The clown is the only one that can give advice to the king and queen, even when it hurts the king and queen's feelings, and still live and get shit done. That is the function of the fucking sacred clown, is I can present a perspective. You ain't got to honor it, but it's just jokes. Ta-da, waka waka. Or was it just jokes? So, yeah. Foundation, everything's been revealed. Holy shit, Archangel Gabriel. Archangel of the waters. Everything in the waters has already been revealed because everything that needs to be created to get you destroyed is already here. I can't explain that one any easier. Everything that needed to be created to destroy you is already here. But how did it get created? You destroyed yourself. How'd you destroy yourself? You connected to the fear, and the fear got you to create it, which already destroyed you. Huh? It's a cycle. Let's go back to the past. It's a cycle. I'll be nice. Normally I say 6 weeks to 6 months. I'm going to say 600 years. 600 years. We are in 2026. And look this up because I'm listening to myself in separation. I'm playing psychic medium. I just heard 1426. Ooh, shit, I think I already know where that's at. If I'm not mistaken, that should be right around the time of the fall of the Moorish Empire. Queen Isabella and Queen Ferdinand. Somewhere around there. Don't get me wrong. I'm off my history because I let that shit go too. This should be somewhere around the Vandals and the Visigoths. Cave dwellers, where they were combining them with the Catholic Church so that they can get rid of the Moorish Empire. Somewhere around there, 1426. So again, the past trauma was you'll connect to whoever you think keeps you safe. Think about what I just said. You had the Catholic Church and you had these paganistic Vandals and Visigoths, these barbarians. You'd rather work with who you hate to get rid of who you hate more. Don't quote me, but this is the past has already shown you connecting to who you scared of is better than staying connected to who you really fear. Did you catch that? Did you catch that? The king of earth in reverse, 30. That thought of fear then already fooled you. You'd rather work with somebody who you don't trust to get rid of who you really don't trust instead of fixing the issue. How'd they get so much of my energy? So the past says you've already succumbed to that fear. The fear is already innately programmed in us to where only thing we do is operate out of mistrust. This is what I said a couple of weeks ago, and I'll say that shit again. What is going on now and why, again, take this as racial if you want to, why black people don't want to join protest is because when we were protesting, when they were slaughtering us in the streets, nobody said anything. Hey guy, all lives matter. Back the blue. So now that shit is happening in your community, you want us to join in too? We already know that as soon as your community is made safe, ours is going to stay in danger. We've never been shown anything different, and to be fair, and I'll throw a card to prove it, the problem is us. Stop waiting on these motherfuckers to give you safety and establish safety for yourself. Stop your fucking enslavement. 2-7. Your enslaved or lower vibrations of thinking who got you in danger is going to show you how to get out of harm. You get that? Your enslaved mindset of you got to go to master to set you free means you're going to stay enslaved. So that's the problem, is if you want to get out of the succumbing cycle, succumb is another word for death. If you want to get out of the cycle of death, you have to start giving life to yourself. But in the sense of the past, only thing we've been shown is where people succumb to their fear. The fear that if I help you, I might harm myself. Or if I help you, you might harm me. Holy shit. They'll admit that. That's been admitted since my whole fucking life. Is people have always had a fear of if there was a turnabout of energies, that which we did to them, they're going to do to us, is the way that they would say it. If black people ever had the upper hand, they'd probably beat us worse than we beat them. Those are words that people actually say. So you already succumb to the fear that at all thoughts and at all costs, you got to keep them in submission. When the whole problem was, we was never your enemy. But the problem, what I'm saying is, when you keep people in lower vibration because that keeps you safe, the people kept in lower vibration only become enslaved to the lower vibration. 2-7, you only become connected to what you've been told you are. Look up Ratopia. Look up Universe 25. Look up The Secret of Nim. Look up that dastardly sick motherfucker, John Calhoun. Look at all the results of the experimentation. If you leave the rats in a sick environment, eventually the motherfuckers will start pimping each other out. They will turn gay. They will kill each other. They will form gangs. They don't want shit. They won't raise their children. They won't look to do anything else other than fucking maim, kill, and destroy. Why? Because they've been left in an enslaved environment and they can't raise their vibrations. Why? Because they're under that motherfucking Leviathan spell. They've been caught in the knowledge of what they've been exposed to, so they become a product of their society. The problem with that is, when you keep people in the lower box and they become a product of their society, the people in the higher box become a product of their society too. Now they don't want change. To tie that back into where we're at now that the people who were already outside the box are being forced to come into change, they want change from everybody else who they kept change, to help them change where they're now being changed too. So that's the past. 1426, you're going to succumb to whatever the strongest thought that already has you enslaved. Why? Because it takes you to your present. Your past shows you your present. Been telling y'all this for years. What was it? 2-2 was Groundhog Day. We're permanently in Groundhog's Day. I've been telling you this, my metaphysical experience is 2018, when I was working with things of this universe, but I wasn't working alone, so I'm not going to play myself like that. I was working with a group of others, and we were doing channelings and board sessions and seance sessions, and everything that we were running to was telling us, hey, you motherfuckers about to get a timeline collapse. Y'all have done nothing. And my poster's still up all the way since 2018. They were calling it the Great Timeline Convergence. And it was set for the vernal equinox of 2019. Holy shit, this motherfucker keep telling y'all 2026 is 2019. Why? Because what they were saying was, in all of the viable timelines, there was a stagnation point where people did not choose to ascend. So there was a bottleneck of the energy. And it was causing rifts. What was not being fixed in one realm was now jumping over, like attracts like, into other realms, and you were infecting all realms, all timelines. I don't mean to say realms. Realms too, though, but timelines. One timeline was infecting another timeline, and there was a potentiality for destruction of all timelines. What you have to understand, and what I didn't get at the moment of working with these entities, was that means time is measured. That means somebody else is controlling the viewpoint of all time. So what it was is somebody was about to lose their candy, and they wanted the candy to fix itself. Time, as it was being viewed, was about to collapse, so a decision was made to collapse all of the viable timelines into a new one and give it a chance at making new decisions. That's what you kept hearing me call the manifestation portal. I even did a 195 people manifestation grid. Things were coming around. You were watching other people have these channel sessions. We have to choose. No more manipulation. All early 2019, late 2018. Motherfuckers were on non-attachment. Motherfuckers were on manifest now. Don't do any more manipulation. People like me were like, hey, let go of these old paradigms. Stop telling yourself we're about to get a new earth, but you still out here doing old earth practices. And we're still doing it today. So my point is, your present is your past, and your past is your present because you're still using the same energy. People want to see something different by trying to use the same shit. Think about what I just said. The people outside of the box that have now been thrown into the box just want to get back outside of the box. You don't care who was already in the box. You just want to get back to your safety. That's still fear mind. You want a bigger vibration with the same lower vibrational tendencies. So your present is, whereas shit was given to you in the sense of a timeline collapse in 2019, you didn't do anything different. So timelines collapsed and formed a new one, and all you motherfuckers did was pack your bags and bring in the same shit. Your present is your past. Your 2026 is your 2019. You still your fucking abuser. 5, you chose manipulation. Remember I kept saying manifestation versus manipulation? You chose manipulation. 5 in the verse, 5 in reverse, movement. What was this reading about? Empathy. My energy being moved. Which way did your energy move? Into the abuse. What's up, brother? So you moved into the abuse. The 2016 trend, from my personal experience, was the preset to where they were going to make the decision. 2016 was you were judged by what you kept letting take place in your energy. We'll call that retreat. We'll call that spiritual retreat. It was, holy shit, man, I got some sickness going on within me. I got some sick tendencies of not only what I believe, but what I keep practicing. I keep connecting to people who are only a reflection of my sickness. People were in relationships. And if I'm not mistaken, that was around that same time with that Joker and Harley Quinn bullshit. Everybody was on that, ooh, I want a relationship like Joker and Harley Quinn. You mean you want some toxic, deadly bullshit? People were starting to be faced with their sickness, and they were making justifications for why it was safe to keep it. 2016 was, holy shit, I'm fucked up. But you know what? They fucked up too. And two fucked up motherfuckers is less fucked up together. Instead of, you know what? Hey, I got some bullshit going on with me. I'm trying to manipulate this motherfucker, or I'm trying to figure out how to stop them from manipulating me. It was lack of accountability. It was, I didn't want to own my highest vibration. I just want what I'm vibrating in to hire me. Higher and HIRE. We wanted what we wanted without realizing what we were asking for. So 2017 said, you're going to star in this shit. 2018 was, holy shit, you motherfuckers are caught in illusions. And that's when the decision was made. In the experiment, collapse the timelines. You understand that? If you ever worked in the science field, or if you ever seen a good science experiment, holy shit, I poured 1 ounce too many of the liquid into the other one, throw the whole shit away before it explodes. That's what we were energetically building from 2012, this last cycle, all the way up into 2019. 2019, timeline convergence, and ta-da, here we go. 2020 was supposed to be, you have to see the results of your choices, but what they do, give us the ultimate fear. COVID! Motherfuckers ran crazy. So, your present was, you still caught in the abuse. What's the abuse? Easily moved. All somebody has to do is plant a thought. Again, Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch. Yes, Mentos and Coke energy. When You become your own abuser because you're easily moved. If you got all your shields up and somebody gets in your ear, run. And you now think that you have to run, your shields ain't worth shit. Our present is our shields ain't worth shit because our energy is easily abused. Why? Because we don't trust ourselves. We just trust in what we've been taught and told to believe. Faith. So what's your future? Faith. I have faith that what's going on is going to rectify itself. But sir, man, we have to do something to fix it. See, that's not the way it worked because it was written, or God keeping score, or the next election is coming up. We just got to get somebody different. So your future is going to be based off of the past. Based off of the present, which was really your past. So you're doing it but succumb to another cycle of bullshit because you haven't fixed the sickness within yourself. You haven't fixed the sickness within yourself. 5, where you moved, becomes 10. You only doubled up the sickness. You only impregnate yourself with your own manipulations. You only impregnate yourself, Lilith, with your own sickness. What do you mean? You chose enslavement versus enslavement, but you forgot to choose you. What was the lesson of 2019? Choose you so that you can manifest the timeline you deserve. What we choose? The manipulation. What are we going to choose? The abundance of manipulation around me because so-and-so said that they know a right plan to do it. But what are you going to do for yourself? Choose. Empathy. I'm going to choose the best movement to find me without sitting still and finding myself. That's a whole issue. When you have to keep choosing how to be you, when you have to keep choosing how to be you, you're not you. You don't have responsibility to yourself. We're going to the higher cross. You don't have responsibility to yourself. This is basically the fool card. Remember, the fool had all the potential. The fool had all the potential because the fool had the initial choice of movement. So this next card should represent you at the crossroads. Remember I told you about rage? Remember I told you in my number system, 23, the thoughts that I keep connecting to will take all my energy. Here's your rage. I burnt myself. I gave all my energy into what I thought was going to be the best movement. I voted for you. That's what you're going to see. Let's vote for a new system to make it safe for ourselves. Yeah, but are they going to change everything? You just got to give them time. You got to give them time to pull us further apart so that we learn to hold ourselves together. Can't you do that on your own? No, you have to give them your energy. You're more passionate about what's burning you, but you don't realize you're burning yourself. Next card, externalization. You burnt yourself by giving all of your energy to the fear. Remember, the whole problem was you connected to the fear. You connected to the 3, the thought of fear. So externalization, basically your master. What shows you everything you need? The parasite, the thought of fear. The parasite, the thought of fear that is steeped in separation and scarcity. If I keep you not seeing enough and I keep you scared of not having enough, I got enough of all of you. That's too easy. If I keep you not having enough, waiter, waitress, and I keep you, store owner, barely having enough, while I take it all, you motherfuckers will be at each other's throat and you'll never come for me. Holy shit. I need to figure out where the Rothschilds are at around 1426 because I can't remember when it was. Might have been around the same time, but one of them Rothschilds had said, I care not who sits on the crown as long as he comes to me for his treasures. In other words, as a bank, I don't give a fuck what country starts a war as long as they got to come to me to use the money. Because the king can rule, but I'm the king's ruler because without my money, the king can't do shit. Holy shit. Remember I told you, really the only thing that can rule over a king or a queen is the vizier, the advisor. Holy shit. Remember, the only thing that can rule over the ruler that you think that's in control is the motherfucker in his ear. Been telling y'all that since the first election. Donald Trump is a sacred clown. I call him an unsacred clown, but he's a mouthpiece. His fanaticism and his megalomaniac fear is perfect for funneling all of all of our anger and empathy. We'll go there. Donald Trump is a good mouthpiece for empathy because he presents such a distaste in the mouth of many that you focus more on him and instead of who's in his ear. And that's the problem. You can get rid of him. You can get rid of Vance. You can get rid of Cash Patel. You can get rid of that bitch, whatever her name is, Bondi, and all them other little sick, twisted motherfuckers. You can get rid of all of them. But if the motherfucker who was in their ear is still sitting in the castle, you don't do nothing but put in another willing slave. If who is telling them what to do is still not seen, the only thing you're doing is putting the rat in front of the cat, but the parasite still survives. So the externalization is you'll never have enough 1-7 starring in a shit show. The potential of seeing yourself as not enough will never show you enough. God damn it. I've been talking about this a lot lately. 1-7. 1 is potential. 7 is myself in the perspective of not having any conditions. Again, 7 is self-awareness. If I am only in the potential of where I see myself, is that reality? Think about what I said earlier. You in a relationship, you ain't seen no red flags yet. So I'm safe here. I'm in my soft girl era. Then you find out that motherfucker got 3 wives and 12 kids and fucking your mama. I ain't safe, and why they have to do that to me? You didn't see yourself as enough that you weren't paying attention to the red flags that were probably obviously on display. You were just making acceptable condonements for the conditions. And that's what people are doing. They're making acceptable condonements for the conditions that keep them safe without seeing the whole fucking sickness. So as long as the whole sickness can keep you just seeing the conditions of the sickness, but not enough to want to be healed, your hopes and fears stay on the table. I just hope that things get better, but just not so much better to where it now has to change me. Conditionalism. You're still in the caste system. I want better for everybody, but I want more for me. And if everybody doesn't get what they want, as long as I get what I need, I'm safe. Safe mode. Your hopes and fears, safe mode. Your hopes and fears, you still ain't learned from your past. You still ain't learned from your past. You just want to succumb to your hopes by making sure that you don't meet your fears. But your fears never left you. Your fear of needing others to struggle so that their struggle doesn't affect where you struggle less, you still don't see the bigger picture. Especially when you start practicing source theory, my theory, wholeness. Everyone is a reflection of you in your healing or your sickness. The need for you to see somebody else in harm is a reflection of the harm that you've already made space for within yourself. The need to see healing in others is a space, and you have to listen to this one. The need to see healing in others is a space for where I probably have not healed myself. Because once I see the healing within myself, I can see the sickness in others and understand when they don't want it for themselves. Todd motherfucking die. When I see the healing within myself, I understand when I see the sickness in others, and that ain't got a goddamn thing to do with me. That's just a parasitic function that somebody else is still falling prey to, and they're not ready to receive it on their own, and I can't give it to them. They gotta let their life tell their tale. And resonance and ignorance is a motherfucker. Why? Outcome. If you keep... I forgot who said that earlier. You said you was getting in too deep. If you keep getting overinvested in the healing of others, you start becoming the sickness of yourself. This is the conspiracy theory route right here. You ain't see that shit? See, fuck you. Don't come in my comments challenging me because I know what I saw and I know the video that I read. You become fanatic. You become fanatics trying to fanatically teach others what you now believe in when they believe in what they believe in too. No, I understand what I see and I understand how this is affecting others. Here's the information. Resonance and ignorance is your motherfucking choice. But miss me with the bullshit when you keep getting what I already told you you're going to get. See, you can add a little ego in at the end. Ain't nothing wrong with that. This is the realm of separation. Ain't nothing wrong with adding the ego. Told you, motherfuckers. Keep paying attention to shit. Eventually, your mouth gonna taste like doo-doo. The outcome is, don't come in. In the sense of this being a reading about empathy, energy being moved in the path to show me, I don't need a path to show me. I don't need an initiation to show me. I don't need a religion to show me. I don't need to be an atheist to show me. I just need to be me. Because once I become me with those conditions, holy shit, I might be sick. Holy shit, I might be sick. You're connected to the fear. Remember what this was all about? The whole problem was fear. If you keep connecting to the fear, the only thing you're going to keep on attracting is the thoughts that keep moving you down that path of fear. And if you keep moving down the path of fear, I don't know how to tell you any other way than what you keep doing is what you will become. If you keep eating fear and moving in fear and thinking fear and shitting fear and living in fear, you become fear itself. You become the parasite. That was a lot of motion. Remember, I told you it all starts at zero. Zero is source. I don't need to make any of these movements to be me. Just need to be me. I just need to be me. Stagnated. Get out of the field of death. Fuck that transmutation. Fuck that alchemy. Alchemy means I am going to be led to change something else because I have the goal of making it what's better for me. That is a fear. Out here alchemizing something instead of accepting it for what it is and then making a better decision that is going to show me, that's a choice. Seeing something for what it is, but I don't accept it for what it is because I need it to be what I want it to be, that's colonization. Oops. Hold this, motherfuckers. 2/6/2026. Connected to the traumas that keep showing the judgment of what has my empathy. Connected to the traumas that have already judged me as empathic. That's because it's a cycle. It's a cycle. Everybody go through this spiritual awakening bullshit. I went through it too, so I'm not trying to be funny. It's just that at some point you have to realize when you're doing the same stuff over and over and you need to stop doing what is going over and over and do you. Spiritual community always keeps going through this empathic bullshit with alchemy, transmutation, my kundalini, my points of awareness. Motherfuckers gonna start going back into shroom trips and back on edibles and ayahuascas and spiritual journeys and shamanism course. That shit is gonna be heavy and hard again this year. Told y'all last year, 2026, the year of empathy is also the year of spiritual addictions. Motherfuckers in this crazy battlefield of empathic fear right now are going to try and find new definitions for themselves. And they're going to align themselves with some of the most craziest motherfuckers and some of the most craziest bullshit that will make them feel good within their illusions. And that'll hurt some people's feelings when it's like, you don't understand my magical system. Okay, I understand your magical system. Now get rid of this system. If your magical system is so strong, get rid of the motherfuckers that's causing harm to everybody. Shh. 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 Been playing this magical game since 2014. A lot longer, but informal training since 2014. It's a projection of your will based off of your level of understanding, but if your level of understanding is only caught in fear, you don't understand shit at all. Stop understanding what you think you know and start experiencing what you're aware of. Because once you're aware of what you're aware of, experience ain't required. Just motherfucking be. Call this.